We refuse to be what you wanted.
Well, I started the Black Child Agenda in 2011, and that was because of the injustices I saw going on in my son's school. So my husband had passed away just a few years before from sickle cell, and the school started locking my son in classrooms, falsifying statements, and forcing them to sign it. And I found that there were a lot more children, not just my sons, who were actually either not in school, unlawfully excluded, not allowed to attend school. So because of that, I started the Black Child Agenda because I could see the injustice and I could also see the effects of exclusions on our streets. And that was young people being groomed into gangs and gun and knife crime, selling drugs, family breakdowns, parents losing their homes, etc. Funny enough, today I had about 4 calls, and one of them was with a child, a young black girl, who was beaten up by a group of 10 white girls at the bus stop. And she retaliated, obviously in self-defense, and was excluded from school for 3 days. The parent was literally in tears, crying because she was just so angry and felt so powerless. Then you can flip over to the other side where you have teachers telling young boys that they're gang members, show us your gang signs, you must know how to get weed, etc. And then you can have children in schools, academically bright, academically gifted, but have a special educational need. And the special educational need, they've got an EHC plan, which is an educational healthcare plan, is not being followed by the school. The child could sometimes be locked in a room by himself in isolation for days on end and not being given food sometimes and not being given any work to do. And then before you know it, they're excluded. Then you go over the side where you have girls that have problems at home, and rather than the school support, they will call social services and have the child removed. Parents who have lost a loved one have called the school to explain, look, this is going on, and rather than support, again, the school's call social services. So it's school unnecessarily. And when they get to that age of like 13, 14, 15, develop a bit of an anger. They develop the anger because they don't feel like they're being listened to. And it's not that mum or dad's not listening to them. It is sometimes just that mum and dad don't know what to do or where to go for support and help, because they know the school's doing wrong, but they don't know how to go about dealing with it. So my typical day could just be given advice over the phone. Sometimes, luckily, a lot of my cases can be dealt with over the phone. Could be just sending a letter to the school to make sure that they're following the legal guidelines, like even the one in Woolwich I had overturned. So that is kind of a typical day. You've got children who are self-harming, children who suffer with anxiety that can't even go to school. They do school online because of the way how they're treated within the school system. And the one common denominator with all of these children, they're either black, mixed race, or of some sort of colour. Northern Ireland, Manchester, Birmingham. We're going to be in Birmingham later on this year. Leeds, all over Bristol. I'm going to be going to Milton Keynes tomorrow. So I travel countrywide, dealing with the same thing. And it just makes you ask the question: is it that all black children have a problem with the education system, or is that the education system is systematically corrupt, inept? The International Court of Human Rights with regards to the way how black children are treated in the education system. And also a black child is 168 times more likely to be permanently excluded for minor infractions than anybody else. So, we have to turn that around and make sure that these schools are getting a nominal fee just to cover costs like petrol costs, like when we go to Manchester or wherever, we'll charge them like pence per mile so that I can at least cover that cost. And then donations go into our GoFundMe to a solicitor, and you see all their files and folders. I could come home with maybe 2 lever arch files filled with paperwork of a child. I have to sit down and go through that in my living room or wherever, and then cross-reference that with the law cross-reference that with all the schools policies. Sometimes they can have 12 different policies times 46 pages. Go through everything with a fine-tooth comb and build a case on behalf of the parent. So that's one of the key areas. So that, because a lot of the stuff that I deal with over the phone could simply just be downloaded off of the website. And that's where it will go. And being able to get someone to come in and handle sometimes the calls or the emails, because I can average maybe 20, 30 emails a day. And I can average 20 to 30 emails a day from parents or just inquiries or people that want me to maybe come and speak at events, etc., etc. And then maybe a tenner here and there could go in the petrol tank for those parents that can't afford even a tenner to maybe get to one of their hearings.